The rebel war in Sierra Leone started on the 23rd day of March 1991. During the rebel war, over 50,000 people were killed. 2.7 million people were displaced both internally and externally. Women and girls were raped. People's hands were amputated. Children under the age of 18 years were recruited as child soldiers. Because of the hope and trust we have in God, we Sierra Leoneans are now hoping for better Sierra Leone.
Sierra Leone's civil war lasted a brutal 11 years. The war ended in 2002, but not before an entire generation was traumatized. Unfortunately, 12 years later, just as the nation began to heal, another crisis was about to unfold.
After the war was Ebola, which created a lot of sad memories in the lives of people. We lost a lot of people, both young and old. Parents without children and children leaving their parents.
Ebola crisis affected my family great. Even one of my brother will be you in Pikire, all die Pikire be with a woman, you are be there with another now. That discouragement they still himself continue. You don't know to say to himself die.
The Civil War and Ebola shattered many communities in Sierra Leone. Hunger became widespread, and although many aid organizations began to give food handouts to provide relief, it became clear that if the people of Sierra Leone were to recover and thrive, a different approach had to be tried. In response, Tearfund partnered with the Evangelical Fellowship of Sierra Leone to address the deep physical, emotional, and spiritual needs in rural Sierra Leone. Churches were asked to envision what they wanted their communities to look like and to think about how they could reach out to help their neighbors. A key priority was training families in farming techniques, replacing the knowledge that was lost during the war. Farmers were trained how to adapt to the heavy rains and subsequent drought brought on by a changing climate, and how to sell their products in the market. It has been a source of transformation for many.
I I've been get for waiting them cancer also and waiting they do for we. I've been a fifth train and maybe they feel fine.
The war took a huge toll on Aminata, killing her first husband and sisters. But through the training provided by local churches, she is slowly rebuilding what has been lost.
Which I don't learn before the end this time, what they mean show which I don't put on at. Be the plant somehow we want, but guys we don't learn how for space plants. And I the pull gas, I the maintain the plant, I the take care of the plants. The plan what I get for feed me picking there. I don't plan for plants and at the sell, waiting at the sponsor me picking them at school. And waiting then they eat back. If they sick, which are they take them there.
Aminata has learned about new ways to grow crops, which provided enough nutrition for her children. She and her husband also grow cassava and even learned how to mill it into a flour to sell at local markets. The cassava mills have been a source of transformation, allowing villagers to process cassava into products that sell at much higher prices. But in order to help communities thrive, any solution to poverty had to go beyond the physical and address the lasting emotional and social pain from the war. With support from Tearfund, local churches are starting to go into their communities and demonstrate real love to their neighbor.
The love of God is transforming our community, but because of the love of Christ, we decided to live there, to come here and start a church for this community. And not just the church, we've also started a school in this community as a way of showing God's love, because these people here are suffering. That's why we decided to come here, so that we can help them in the area of whatever developmental, but also Christ's love, to share the love of Christ with this community.
In a culture that is trapped in cyclical poverty, Families like Aminata's are finding new hope and becoming catalysts for change in their villages. In partnership with the local church, Tearfund is dedicated to sharing the good news of Jesus to provide whole life transformation for people living in extreme poverty. Sierra Leone may have had a grim past, but with the reconciling power of Christ and the strength of the local church, the future is bright for women like Aminata and her family.
People that in Canada, I dey tell them thank you, I dey bless them, make them pray to we find, make them get with it, then they send for we, and we self dey bless them, we dey tell them thank you.